Afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Birmingham Wildlife Conservation Park for the latest in our Wednesday Facebook Live videos. We're continuing our world tour today, and we're stopping off to meet our Sitatunga today. Now, unfortunately, he is right over the other side of the paddock, lying down. So hopefully, he might get up and come and say hello. I've tried to tempt him over with a couple of bits, so we'll see if he comes over. But that the horns that you can kind of see there, and the brown and white face, it's about as good a view as we're going to get at the moment. But hopefully he'll get up and come and have a look. I know we are very zoomed in, so it is a little bit difficult to see him, but yeah, hopefully he'll come and at least try and say hello. But as ever, feel free to send in any questions or comments you might have, guys. Otherwise, I will carry on and kind of tell you a little bit about this species. Hi Lorraine, hi Mary. Hope you're both okay today. Right then, so the Sitatunga is a species of antelope found in Africa, found throughout kind of central Africa, heading in towards the kind of western part of the tropical area of Africa. We do have quite a large range, kind of similar to the potto that we saw last week, actually. Oops, sorry. Try to get that steady. Similar to the range of the potto from last week. Yeah, covering much of that kind of tropical, central and western areas of Africa. The Sitatunga is generally found in habitats of kind of dense forest and swampy, marshy habitats, and they are quite well adapted to a kind of life in and around water. Another name for these guys is the marsh buck, actually. So yeah, they are also known as the marsh buck. Hi Judith, are you okay this week? So yes, they are generally found in these kind of habitats, and they will live in kind of small family groups or solitarily. Yeah, they're perfectly happy being on their own, but they will also form small little groups, up to about 9 individuals or so. So yeah, yeah, they kind of form these small little groups. Hi Tim, are you okay this week? So they will generally feed on a range of different foliage, reeds, grasses, leaves, all that kind of stuff. All the nice fresh stuff that they can find. I'm focusing on him again there. Yeah, they will feed on all of those kinds of things. Much preferring kind of newer, fresher growth. So that's the most succulent stuff and the tastiest stuff for them, which is good. That's what I've tried to tempt him over with at the moment. But yeah, so far no luck. But we'll see. We'll see. Hi Zena, are you okay today? Yes, apologies again that we've got a fairly rubbish view of him, but at least we can kind of see him. He's not sat in the house at least, so yeah, we can't really get too close to the Sitatunga. Being a big male antelope, with big sharp horns, can't really go in there with him. So yeah, I'm kind of in the double gate area at the moment, as close as I can get. So yeah, like I say, it's up to him whether he gets up and comes over and says hello. Oh, I forgot you'd call him Rock, Mary. Yeah, so he's 5 years old now. Like you say, he came from Blackpool Zoo. He came to us during the COVID pandemic in 2021, March 2021, I believe he arrived. That was fun, carrying him in a box, but that's another story. So yeah, currently he is the only Sitatunga we have at the moment. We unfortunately lost our 2 elderly females at the start of the year. So yeah, it is only the male that we've got at the moment. We do have a couple of young females lined up, I do believe. So hopefully they'll be here sooner rather than later to pair up with this chap. Sorry, try and get this a little bit better focused. It's a bit better. So yeah, hopefully they'll be arriving in the next couple of months or so. I think we've got a couple of bits we want to do before they come in, but yeah, we do have them lined up, so that'll be nice to get a little bit of a group going again. Like I say, it's not an issue for a Sitatunga to be on its own, but yeah, they will also happily live in little groups as well. So Tim, Sitatunga are a species of antelope, and antelopes are in the bovid family, as we call it. So that's the same family as cows and cattle, sheep and goats and things like that. The closest relative for the Sitatunga is the bongo, not the drum, the antelope, which is a very kind of similar species. They're also quite closely related to things like bushbuck, and a little bit more distantly to stuff like kudu and things like that. But yeah, the bongo is the closest relative for the Sitatunga. Yeah, these guys aren't deer, and there's a couple of ways you can tell the difference between an antelope and a deer. Antelope have horns rather than antlers. So horns are kind of one, each horn is one, not branch, but one distinct arm, so to say, whereas antlers obviously branch off into a number of different little branches and things like that. And another way you can always tell the difference between a deer and an antelope is if the animal's got stripes on it, it's an antelope, because no deer species have spots. They only have stripes. So Sitatunga do, it would have been helpful if he was stood up, but he's not. But Sitatunga do have kind of stripes, quite faint stripes, but they do have stripes as a bit of a marking. They do also have spots, but it is those stripes that kind of make them distinct, which show you they're an antelope, not a deer. So yeah, there are a couple of easy ways to tell deer and antelope apart. Now, Sitatunga are classed as least concern on the IUCN Red List. They're doing okay out in the wild. Like I say, they've got a massive range, covering quite a lot of that central belt of Africa. But they are threatened with habitat loss, as with everyone really. They do face threats such as that. Other than that, there's not too many threats for them, which is good really. I'm sure they are taken for bushmeat, but they are quite secretive and quite kind of shy, retiring animals. So chances of seeing them out in the wild and things like that is more slim than anything else. So yeah, they are doing okay at the moment out in the wild, which is good. So yeah, they'll use those horns during courtship. Tim, they will use them as a defence mechanism against other males and things like that. Only the males have got horns. Females don't have the horns. It's just the males. They aren't particularly aggressive animals towards each other. But yeah, those horns will be used if necessary when trying to attract females. So yeah, that's kind of the main use of those horns. Like I say, these guys are quite well adapted to the habitats they live in. The way they've got an arrow-shaped head, and those horns kind of project back to accentuate that shape, which allows them to push through dense vegetation and things like that, as opposed to getting kind of stuck and tangled in the dense forest that they can be found in. They've also got splayed hooves that are in a bit of a banana shape rather than a proper hoof shape, which allows them to traverse through, quite damp, wet mud, and things like that. So yeah, they've got some good adaptations for living in the kind of habitats that they do. So yeah, like I say, the male that we've got here, Rock as we are calling him, is 5 years old. There you go, Tim, you've read my mind. And they do live for normally up to early 20s in captivity. Yeah, they can live up to, I think the record's around 22 or 23. So late teens, early 20s is kind of lifespan for these guys in captivity. In the wild, it will generally be a little bit less. But yeah. in captivity, it is around about that level. Generally have one little one at a time when they breed. I think they can have twins, but it is less common. Sorry. So yeah, normally would have one little one at a time. Definitely read mine then, Tim. Definitely read mine. He is a stunner, Mary. He really is. Hopefully he might stand up for the video ends, but we'll see. No, he's a very handsome boy. He's quite a tall male. These guys can, stand at the shoulder about 100 and what are we on? 120 meters, 120 centimeters. And the males can weigh up to about 117 kilo, I think it is, something like that. So yeah, like I say, that was fun carrying him in when he arrived. But yeah, he settled quite nicely. It was quite useful that we were closed at the time when he arrived, so had a couple of weeks to settle before he met the public. Because yeah, it wasn't too long after that we reopened, I think. So yeah, he settled quite nicely with the girls. Unfortunately, they've gone now, but like I say, I'm sure he'll welcome some new females with open hooves in the future. Right, guys. Any last minute questions? Feel free to send them in. Otherwise, we'll wrap up in a minute. I'm not here next week, so we will be having a week off from the Facebook Live World Tour and Facebook Live in general. But yeah, we should be back to normal service in 2 weeks. So yeah, just keep an eye out for our advertising. As ever, it'll be a week on Tuesday for the next video. I think it's going to be something like the porcupine, maybe. But again, I can't remember off the top of my head. Another African animal. Still got a few to go through in Africa. So yeah, we will see. We will see in a couple of weeks. I do check the list every Monday, and then I always forget by the time it gets to Wednesday what next week's one is. So yeah, you're gonna get up, mate. You're having a bit of a stir. You're gonna get up? Go on, get up at the end of the video. That would be useful. So Tim, he's been here since 2021. 2021? He arrived in March of 2021. He was born at Blackpool in 2018. And yes, he came to us in March of 2021. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, it's just a couple of days off, and it is, it is a break. It's not a work thing, thankfully. Just popping down to Bristol to go and see a band. So yeah, we'll have a couple of days off next week for that, which will be nice. Yeah, so he hasn't been here too long, Tim. Obviously, compared to some of the animals here who've been here for many years. He's a relative newcomer compared to some of the old hands, bless him. But yes, we will. He's a well-loved member, as with everybody else. They become part of the family very quickly, bless him. Right, guys, we will wrap it up there. Thank you all for your well wishes. And yes, like I say, we'll be back in 2 weeks. I think with a porcupine, but I'm not 100% sure. So we will, we'll find out in a couple of weeks. But yeah, thanks as ever for tuning in, and we will see you in a fortnight. Thanks, guys.